Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of the Pop and Prose podcast. I have a return visitor to the show, although when he was on the show before, it was the Gotta Pop podcast. So, Roland,
Hey,
welcome to the Pop and Prose podcast for the first time.
thanks for having me, buddy.
No problem. And I don't think I mentioned your last name is Roland Denzel. He's a writer. He's been a friend of mine for quite some time. And in addition to both being writers, we are both really lifelong music lovers. We talk about music so much, and we're going to be talking about music in today's show.
Yeah, it should be fun. A lot
Yeah,
of fun.
we decided, there was any number of things, we could have talked about music-wise. When Roland was on the show before, we did a whole show on Pink Floyd. We had focused on some of their more obscure music, including their album "Obscured by Clouds." But then we kind of touched over like every aspect of their careers. And rather than do a band this time, we decided to do a show about music that inspires us because well, music, there's an old saying, I can't remember who first said it, but I heard it probably back in the 80s, and it's that the music that we listen to is the soundtrack to our lives. And I think that's very true. We can relate music to hard times we went through, good times we went through, and sometimes when we're down, music can turn things around for us, make us feel better. And that's the kind of music I plan on talking about today, and I think Roland's going to do the same
Yeah,
things that inspire and motivate us. And I think I'm going to just hand it to you now and maybe share some music that makes you feel good.
sure. Yeah. It was interesting when you brought up this topic because I think about as like a lot of authors are fond of sharing playlists, either just for writing, right, for themselves, but a lot of like times like, oh, here's my playlist for writing my vampire stories, or here's my
Hmm.
playlist for like I write thrillers, and here's like the playlist that really gets me inspired to write like that big scene, the big climactic scene or something like that. So it's interesting, like, but we can like use that sort of same sort of a thing for our lives as well, which is probably how like most people, like
Yeah.
normal people, quote unquote, do it, you know? Yeah, but there's like one song when you said songs that inspire you, what I pictured with myself was like getting up in the day and like I just needed something to get me going that day.
Hmm.
And like I love to take a like as soon as the sun is up a little bit, I love to go take a walk, even if it's for like 5 minutes,
Oh, I
just
love
sort
that.
of just
It's
to sort
such a
of
fantastic way to start the day.
get the circadian. Okay, you say fantastic way to start the day. I say get my circadian rhythm. So there's like, there's like the happy way of saying it, then there's the science way. So like I either way is good. They both get the same way. But um I really love it's a sort of I think it's a goofy song by ELO. I think a lot of ELO songs are a little bit Electric Light Orchestra songs are a little bit goofy yet beautiful, right? It's like
Hmm.
Jeff Lynne is such an amazing composer and songwriter, and there's so many great musicians on there, and like everything's so. But the song that gets me the most is "Do Ya," which is like
Oh,
probably like
yeah.
one of their most simple,
Yeah.
less ELO-y songs of all of them. And it just really kind of really gets me going. It's such like a fun happy song with like a driving beat, and I can
Yeah.
just put that on and like it's like just enough to walk around my short block once,
Oh,
kind
that's
of,
great.
and then maybe get like an extra, I usually will put it on one more time, and then come in and make my coffee. But the song has so many weird elements. It reminds me of that. Oh gosh, I can't even. The that painting of the goat with the violin.
Oh, I think I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's famous for other things than being in Notting Hill, the movie. But
Yeah, as soon as you said Notting Hill, I'm like, yes, I can picture it now. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that's such
yeah,
a good movie.
it is such a good movie. Yeah, and yeah, so I just love that song. It always goes back to that. Do Ya is such a great song. I just love the lyrics, love the song, and there's a crazy video of Jeff Lynne with this huge afro from
Oh,
his
I've
early
seen other
days, just
videos
like,
with him from that time period. Yeah, he's got the beard, he's got the big afro. He's got that
yeah,
70s rocker thing going on,
exactly,
which I
yeah.
think I
So
think he
that's
still pretty much looks the same now, but he that it totally fit for back then.
yeah, less afro, but more, yeah, for sure.
That's a great song, and I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm going to add that to one of my playlists. There's a lot. like you said, a lot of ELO's music, it's I don't know, some of it's very theatrical. And I think from what I understand too, like their stage shows, especially back when they were at their height and fame, were very theatrical. I think they had the spaceship flying over the stage
Mm.
that had appeared on some of their album covers, and some of their music too is just so good. I've got some of their songs on. My workout list. So when I say workout, I'm not like some jock who's lifting weights, but I'm into walking. I used to run. I can't do that anymore because I'm getting older. Uh, but I ride my stationary bike, and I've got a few of their songs. And do ya? I want to add to that. One that I like that I find inspirational, just because the beat is so good, is Mr. Blue Sky. It's just
Oh yeah.
it's just a good happy song, and some others by them that they're a really talented group.
Mr. Blue Sky has an interesting story
Oh, does it? I don't know
because
anything about it really.
because of how it gets you in a good mood because they were recording in Switzerland and he was sort of had what do you call it? A mental block, who's a mental block,
Oh,
writer's block,
oh, okay,
songwriter's block,
yeah.
I guess, right? For a long, long time. And it was always so overcast and gloomy there at this lake where they were staying. And then one day like the rain parted and then like this blue, like the beam, like the God lights beams
Oh,
come down
nice.
and stuff like that. And he was just like so inspired and like rushed back into the studio and like kind of knocked the song out, right? At least that's
Oh,
the myth.
oh, well, that's great. I believe that myth. I hear stories like that all the time about how it can be something, just a regular, seemingly everyday thing, like, seeing the sun, seeing the blue sky, and it can just, inspire you. That's wonderful. I did not know that. Well, I'm going to share one of mine then from a
Okay.
group that became popular probably around the same time as ELO, and that's the Alan Parsons Project. And it's a short song. It's an instrumental. Most of their popular songs have vocals in them, but the song is called Sirius. And people might not know it by the title, but it's been used as a sort of theme song, I guess, for the Chicago Bulls basketball team since 1984. You've probably heard it in various movie soundtracks, TV commercials. It's just this. I wish I could play music on the show, but I know you're not allowed to do that kind of thing on YouTube and other platforms. But do you know the song I'm talking about, Roland?
No, but I'm gonna certainly check it out.
Yeah, check it out. You probably know it pretty quickly. I'm not a basketball fan. I've never I've maybe watched two basketball games on TV like my whole life, but I know that song is kind of iconic and related to, like I said, to the Bulls and so many other things. And I know it. I knew the song mainly because it's on their album "Eye in the Sky," and "Eye in the Sky" was one of their most popular songs. And this
Yeah.
song actually preceded that Eye in the Sky on the album. Sirius was the first song. It's only about 2 minutes long. And then it just like segued nicely into Eye in the Sky. I usually play both songs together. It's sort of like I can't hear one without the other. It's sort of like, We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions by Queen. I
Oh
feel
yeah.
weird playing just one of them. You got to play them together.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I had Alan Parsons is one where like I didn't get ELO like at the time because I think maybe because of the flying saucer on the covers
Yeah,
and some of the goof like the Mr. Blue Sky has some weird elements to it like
it
that
does.
I didn't really get. Like and a lot of those songs have these kind of weird orchestral elements, but also like weird, he does a weird voice sometimes, and there's a
Hmm.
robot voice. So we're making it sound worse than it is. It's not robot voice like
No, but I
but
remember, especially as
late,
a kid, some of their stuff was just a little too, quote unquote, weird for me.
yeah. So like later on, now I appreciate it. And Alan Parsons Project, one of my friend Kathy was really into the Alan Parsons Project, and I just didn't get it. I mean, there were some songs that I liked, but she was like, Alan Parsons Project. But like the more I learned about him, like all the other things he's done,
Yeah.
and like what a great producer he is of all these things,
Yeah, and he was an engineer
including
for Pink Floyd back in the
for
day.
Dark Side of the Moon, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so like he had some he's had some heavy influence on stuff. So I never really realized that this was his project where he wasn't the one, and he was just pulling like his ideal people together, like his super groups together to make like the perfect
Yeah.
the perfect recordings and the
Yeah, and
perfect album.
he'd use different, he had some musicians that he went to from album to album, but you'd hear different vocalists on most of the hit songs. It was great because, like you said, he was just this very well respected producer. I think people wanted to work with him, and he had like, do you remember the band Ambrosia?
Yeah.
They like their lead singer. I'm drawing a blank on his name now. He appeared as a lead vocalist on several of the Alan Parsons songs, and he brought in other people too that had recorded with like Santana and other acts. And very very creative and very talented man. I love to see that he's out there now touring. He doesn't call it the Alan Parsons Project anymore, but I think it's just Alan Parsons live experience, and he brings in multiple musicians and does that kind of thing. And good for him. I love to see these guys who are like into their 70s, even like over 80, playing. Like Ringo Starr is still touring. He's just turned 85 years old.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat, I think. Pretty inspirational.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to share another one of your musical selections?
Um, yeah, so I am going to I'm going to leap forward into the 80s a little bit,
Okay.
right? So, and this one's a little bit, um, it's I Think We're Alone Now by Tiffany,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Right? Yeah. So I don't know her, but she lives, I mean, or I live very close to where Downey or Norwalk, and it's, in this area, Southern California here. That's
Oh,
where
cool.
she's from. She recently did a video, like a recent version of a couple years ago of I Think You're Alone Now.
Oh,
And there's a
wow.
lot of like the area that I'm familiar with, like in the video, right?
Oh, cool.
The beach that I'm familiar with, her hometown is there. And but as I'm gonna say, I guess I'm gonna say goofy a lot in this podcast, but as goofy as it was, like I just loved that song, right?
Mhm.
And I forgot about it for many years, and then it popped up in my, in recommendations one day, and I'm like, okay. And then I was just walking, and it really, like, by the time I got home, like, I went out for like, I'm just got to get out of the house, and like in between calls, and I was like, I had I'd been on like Zooms all day.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, I'm gonna take a walk. So I just put on like a random like one song, and then the next song was that, and I'm like, oh, and I just really kind of, got me going, and it's just such a fun song. And then I
It
just ended
is.
up putting on repeat, and then I found the updated version as an adult because she was 15 when she made that,
Oh,
and
I didn't
then
realize she was quite that young. Wow.
yeah, yeah, and like that was in the 80s, so she's around my age, a little, I think a little bit younger. So
Wow, that is
yeah,
a fun song. I remember liking that a lot when it came out, and that's a remake of a song from the '60s.
yeah,
Tommy James, I think it was Tommy James and the Shondells, and that was an incident too where I think I knew Tiffany's before I knew the Tommy James
me
song.
too.
And when I hear Tommy James now, it's fine. I mean, it's a good song. I can't talk bad about it, but I prefer Tiffany's version. Sort of like
It's like
Joan Jett had remade his Crimson and Clover. I knew her song first before I knew the
yeah.
original, and that's what I fell in
Like I
love with.
can't believe this Tommy James guy came forward in time, like went back in time and like recorded all these songs trying to steal the limelight
I
from our
know, I
our
know. You
favorite
stole from
artists.
Debbie Gibson too. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Ugh.
and Debbie. Now that's funny. You brought up Tiffany because I think those two, her and Debbie Gibson, get lumped together sometimes because they both became popular around the same time, late '80s, like you said. And I was just listening to Debbie Gibson the other day. I don't know if you remember the song "Only in My Dreams" by
Yeah.
her. That was a pretty popular song, and it was sort of another thing about a young person, dreaming about a wonderful life and going for their goals. And another thing too, where some might consider it to be kind of a goofy or silly song, but I'm listening to it now, approaching 40 years later, and it still makes me feel good. It kind of makes you feel good when you listen to it, and that's one of the best things about music. I think it can, no matter how old it is, it can change your life, even if it's just for 3 to 4 minutes to make you feel good, turn things around for you.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That Tiffany song is a great one, and I'm gonna look at my. I keep going to my phone here because when we talked about this, we were talking about. I forget, you were talking about how you recently made a mix CD for someone, in your life, and that led us to talking about how we used to do that with CDs, but also mixtapes. You would always hear about mixtapes. So I made this thing as sort of like I was playing in my mind like when I used to make mixtapes, I used to buy the 90-minute ones, the 90-minute blank tapes, so you could have 45 minutes on each side.
Oof.
So I made a inspirational mixtape. You probably can't see. I got a picture of me with headphones on there, but it's
Okay.
about 90 minutes long. So I've got a lot of stuff on here from like the time period we're talking about, late 80s, a lot of movies stuff. And that's the next thing here that I'm going to share. It is Far From Over by Frank Stallone. Do you remember that one?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's from the movie Staying Alive, which was a sequel to the iconic Saturday Night Fever movie starring John Travolta. And it's just, in many ways, I guess if people try to envision what they consider to be cheesy 80s stuff, you might see this music video in your head or hear the music, but I love it. I just love it. It's one of my favorite songs to ride my bike to walk to. When I ran, I used to love running to it. It was called Far From Over, and basically, don't count me out. I know I'm not where I want to be in life, or maybe where you think I should be in my life, but I'm still in it. I'm going for my dreams, and I used to have one of my friends make fun of me for always embracing songs like that, but I love stuff like that because we all go through hard times, and I don't know. Sometimes a song like that and like other things we've already talked about can be very relatable to me and make me feel better, make me maybe want to try a little harder with what I'm doing.
Yeah. And are you going to mention that that's Sylvester Stallone's brother?
Oh yeah, that's right. I should mention that. Yeah, Frank Stallone is Sylvester Stallone's brother. Sylvester actually directed this movie, Staying Alive, which was, I'm sure, a big part of why, the song got used in the movie. And for those who don't know, too, Frank was at a very, very minor role in the first Rocky movie. And as a singer, there was a scene where Rocky, I guess, was walking on a Philly street, and he walks by this group of guys who are singing around a trash can. Do you remember this, Roland? They've
Yeah,
got
yeah,
fire
yeah.
burning in it, and they're just singing the song called "Take You Back," and it's like no instruments are there. It's just them singing a cappella. But it was Frank's group at the time that was called Valentine, and Frank even had a cameo singing in Rocky 3. There was a sequence where Rocky was training in the gym, and Rocky had kind of gone Hollywood a little bit, and you got this guy singing like this disco song in the back, and it was Frank. So yeah, but Frank's actually pretty talented. I think I probably unfairly made fun of him sometimes in the past, but I've listened to other music by him. He did an album, I think it was just covering like Sinatra sonds fairly
Oh yeah.
recently, and it was really, really good. So, but yeah, Far From Over by Frank Stallone. If you don't know it, check it out. It's a good
Ah, that
song.
sounds good.
Look for that
Definitely
music
check it out.
video too.
I'm gonna definitely listen to you said you made a playlist, so I'll definitely listen to the playlist for this thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna include a link to my playlist for anybody who wants to check it out. I'll have it in the links for this show.
Cool, cool, cool.
So what else you got for me, Roland?
Well, so I'm gonna go, this is another cover,
Okay.
but it's Ain't That a Shame by Cheap Trick. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So not only is it a cover, but they've only done it live. Like if it's never been on one of their studio albums, right? And it was from, I guess became their big, like one of their big hits at when they made Cheap Trick at Budokan, right?
Yes,
So, which was my entry into Cheap Trick,
me too. It's the first album I owned by them.
and it's the only. This is the only live. I mean, I don't live albums. Like every once in a while, there's a song like Peter Frampton. I love his live stuff.
Yeah.
Than Cheap Trick, but like I think their live stuff is better than their studio stuff in a
Yeah.
lot of things. And yeah, but so again, I didn't know was it Chubby Checker or Fats Domino?
I think Fats
Fats
Domino.
Domino.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's
apparently
funny that
he
you got the
even
Fats and Chubby.
yeah, yeah. He even Fats Domino gave Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick his gold record for
Oh,
Ain't
wow.
That a Shame? And he says like he says you guys have made the definitive version of this song. This is
Wow.
your song now. And he gave Rick Nielsen, who's the lead guitarist, um
That's so
his,
cool. I love when you
his
see
gold
that kind of
record.
respect between musicians. I heard a similar thing with when Van Halen covered "You Really Got Me" by the Kinks, and they did it.
Mm.
And Ray Davies, the leader of the Kinks, said pretty much the same thing that you just shared in that story, where he said, yes, I wrote it, I sang it, but they made it better. They made the definitive version, and I just love seeing that kind of thing. And yeah, ain't that a shame by Cheap Trick? Gosh, I haven't heard that in years. That's such a good song. Like you said, it's the live version on that album and everything on that album was just amazing. I discovered that. I don't know when that came out, maybe 79-ish, something like that.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and that was my first exposure to Cheap Trick, and yeah, that also had "I Want You to Want Me." It was another hit single off of that album, and but yeah, ain't that a shame that they rock in that song?
Yeah, it's great. It starts off just like, it's got, Bunny Carlos drums, just like, he's like really got a starts it with a drum solo,
Yeah.
right? And
Oh
then
yeah.
it, goes into, the guitars and then the bass starts and it's just like a whole really like a driving force to that first vocal,
Yeah.
right? And then it's so good. It's so
Yeah.
good.
And I love the vocals by Robin Zander. He's a great singer, and what I love is that he still sounds good. I listened to an album they put out, I want to say 2 3 years ago, might have been their last studio album, and I'll tell you the band sounds just as good as ever. Bonnie Carlos, I know, is not with them anymore, but the rest of the guys are still the original band members, and they sound great. Yeah, I love that album. They've got a lot of good songs. Excellent. All right. Well, since we're flip flopping back and forth here, let me consult again my inspirational mixtape, and I'm going to go with yet another movie song, and this
Okay.
is Saint Elmo's Fire, Man in Motion by John Parr, and it was written for the film Saint Elmo's Fire. I think it came out, I want to say 85-ish, somewhere mid to late 80s, and for those who don't know. Well, it was one that was considered, I guess, iconic for having most of the Brat Pack in it. You had Rob Lowe, you had Demi Moore, you had Judd Nelson, Andrew McCarthy. I forget who else. Ali Sheedy. A lot of the popular young actors at the time had played a group of friends who had gone to college together, and I wasn't a big fan of the movie. I think I watched it a couple times on cable because back in the mid to late '80s, these things got repeated over and over and over again on services like HBO. But I always, while I liked the movie well enough, the theme song always did it for me. It's just another one that's very inspirational. It's singing basically. It's interesting. This song has an interesting history too. While John Parr was contracted to write this for the film, most of the inspiration for the song came from this man, this Canadian man, and I wish I could remember his name right now. But it was a man who had been an athlete, he had been a runner, and he had been suffering from cancer. And he ended up, I think, losing one of his legs at the time, but he still was. I think he went on some big mission to, I think, run a very long distance. I couldn't remember if it was like, run throughout the majority of Canada at the time. And then even after well, that was before he lost his leg. But then after he lost his leg, he was touring around, like always giving inspirational speeches to people. And he became, I guess, sort of this iconic figure, especially in Canada, but I guess in the sports world as well. And that was sort of where Parr got the inspiration. The Man in Motion was more
Oh,
more about the man who had done these wonderful things even while suffering from cancer and sadly losing his life later on from it. But there's some great lines in there, about for once in your life, to go for it. Your time is now, and it's one that especially I don't know when I've even been down sometimes and I've heard that song. It's like just a reminder, to go for the things that you want. Whether it's some sort of athletic thing that you're trying to do, or you're writing a book, or you want to do whatever. Your time is now. We have today, so go for it.
yeah. Yeah, that's a good story. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
I wish I could remember the man
powerful
who
message. And
inspired the song.
yeah, yeah, it's a good story. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
I like that, and yeah, and actually, Saint was Fire. It was kind of a good movie. Just talking about it kind of makes me want to see it again.
Yeah, I
Okay, what do you
watched
what?
it.
I was like, go ahead.
I think I watched it a couple of years ago. And like that, I think I had fond memories of it. Like I
Hmm.
think it was okay. Like I enjoyed it, but it
Yeah.
was a little very melodramatic. Like some of those Brat Pack movies had a little lot of
Yeah, it's true. And it's funny how you can have fond memories of something. And then you go to watch it, decades later, and it's not quite the same. Of course, our lives change and we go through different things. You and I were both close, very close in age to those people when that movie came out. So maybe it was a little bit more, in some ways, relatable. But I don't know. I was never like as cool as Rob Lowe, so maybe it wasn't that relatable. I want to be as cool as Rob Lowe is now. The
yeah.
guy is still looks great. He's
Oh
still
yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I like Rob Lowe quite a bit. I actually just recently, I haven't listened to it yet, but I just bought, I think he's put out two memoirs and I got the audiobook of one of them. So I'm looking forward to
Okay.
listening to that.
I just watched I think the first or two seasons of a show that he's doing with his son on Netflix,
Oh,
where
yeah.
he's like a tech guru, kind of like a billionaire kind of a guy, and his son, but he's like a little crazy, and his son, he bring in his like more stable son to come in and sort of be like his rock and like bring the company back to and it's pretty funny. It's a pretty good
Yeah, I
show.
mean, he's really good at playing humorous roles, and I like the relationship he has with his sons. I've seen before, like his sons, I think on Instagram, will kind of make fun of his like '80s sex symbol status. Sometimes they'll show a picture of him without his shirt on when he had like the total '80s hair, long, all the mousse and everything in it, and they would like, "Oh my God, Dad, what were you thinking here?" And but one other thing for Rob Lowe, and then I'll move on. Have you ever seen the game show that he hosts on the Fox network? It's called The
No,
Floor. Oh, it's
no,
really good, and he does a
I've
great
never
job
heard of it.
hosting it. Yeah, it's. I'm not going to go into what The Floor is all about, but folks, if you haven't, if you like game shows, that's actually a really good one. He does a great job hosting it, and it's a very compelling show. It's a show I didn't think I was going to like because I kind of sometimes I'll see those things come on. I'll be like, oh, I don't know, it's just another cheesy, Fox game show or reality show. But that one's really entertaining. So
Yeah.
I think it's your turn.
Okay. All right. So many good songs to choose from, and so many songs in so little time, right?
Yes.
Um, yeah. So I think I'm out of things from that era, but one of my there's so many on here. So another one that I didn't really connect, another band I didn't really connect with earlier was Supertramp.
Oh,
So,
okay.
right. And I think maybe it was the name. I thought Supertramp seemed like a weird name for a band.
Yeah,
So,
I remember thinking that when I first heard of them too.
yeah. But somebody gave me the album Breakfast in America, and and I went, oh, I've never heard, but then I listened. I'm like, oh, I know all these songs, right? And I just had from hearing them on the radio
Yeah,
all those
I
times
think
and
there were
knowing who it
several
was.
hits from that album, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. So Goodbye Stranger is the one that is my favorite on there. Like it's the
Oh
one that I go
yeah.
back to all the time. And it's just such a, like it's sort of like a bittersweet thing, but starting over. So it's like you're seeing, yeah, you're moving on from somebody, right? But you'll always have this, great memories of them. Learn from them, learn from the experience. Like no hard feelings. It seems a little trite when you say, "Oh, no hard feelings," but um, yeah, so that one always kind of warms my heart a little bit and kind of gets me back in a good mood and inspires me.
Yeah, that's
By
a
that
really
one.
good one. That's and it's funny. That's a song I haven't heard in so long. I have to play it again now. But I can, just with the lyrics running through my head, I can see everything that you just said. It is something too where I don't know. It's funny how relationships can be too, especially after romantic relationships end, where at first you might not be able to have those kinds of thoughts that you just shared there, where you think, oh, I appreciate what we had, even though we had a bad breakup. But maybe years later, you could be like, okay, it's probably a good thing I went through all that.
Yeah.
Maybe made me even, know what I want more now in a relationship, for both people. And, but yeah, that's a good song. And that's a good album too. I'd like, is that, Was that the album that had the Logical song on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when that came out, I think again, I don't even know if I was a teenager yet, but that may have been one of the first times I even heard the word logical. It's not a song that pops up in a lot of top 10 hits.
Yeah. It was also one of my first concerts I ever went to. Like
Oh,
my friend, I have several friends named Dave, several friends named Paul. This is one of my friends named Paul, and he was always inviting me to go to these concerts, my local, the Irvine Amphitheater, Pacific Amphitheater, and he would, like I would sometimes didn't know who these people were. I would heard of them, but so we went
mhm.
to Supertramp. I don't know who opened for them or whether they opened for somebody else. Who was a great concert. I'm like, wow, I know all of these songs. Like you don't even,
Wow.
right? Yeah. So thank you, Paul Constantine for taking me to all those concerts. Those all
You must
those
have been pretty
many
young
years
when you
ago.
saw them then, probably in your teens, I guess, or
Yeah,
yeah.
and it was interesting because like I think Paul and I we felt like we were the youngest people at this concert back then. Like and like so back then, like like in California, you always had to be 21 to buy a beer. But like they would just like I guess they didn't expect people to be younger than 21 there. Like they
Oh,
were all
wow.
like, so
Oh, that's
yeah.
great. Yeah, I like I don't have much of their music. I mean, I've because of things like Spotify, I've been able to in the past decade or so become more exposed to their music than I was back in the day. Because especially when we were kids, you only had so much money to buy. You could only ask your parents for so many albums a year. So I didn't have all of those things back then. But listening to some of their stuff now, boy, they did have a lot of songs that were so great. One of theirs that I like a lot. I'm not saying it's an inspirational song, but um, "It's Raining Again." Do you remember that
Oh
song?
yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's a song, most people don't associate rain with happiness, but that's one of the happiest sounding songs ever.
Yeah.
And yeah, they've got
Yeah.
just a lot of good songs. I'm glad
Give a
you
little
mentioned
bit.
that.
Give a little bit. It's a great song.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's another one too that I kind of love. No offense, Supertramp. I kind of love the remake of that more than the original. You ever hear the Goo Goo Dolls version of that?
No, I've never heard that. I'll check
Oh,
it out
it's
then.
really, really good. Really, I highly recommend checking it out. So yeah, great song there. Let me scroll through here. I'm gonna try to pick one that's not from a movie. I'm looking through here and, like, boy, oh boy, I've got a lot of movie songs on here. Okay, here's one. Boy, I've got a lot of 80s songs on here too. Shows my favorite era, but it is by Billy Ocean, and it's "When the Going Gets Tough, the Tough Get Going." Do you remember that
Uh,
one?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was from I don't know if Billy had it on one of his studio albums, but I believe it was originally written for the movie The Jewel of the Nile, which was a
Really?
sequel to the film Romancing the Stone that starred Michael
Yeah.
Douglas, Kathleen Turner, and Danny DeVito. And I don't know if you remember this, Ron, but they had a great music video for "When the Going Gets Tough, the Tough Get Going," where they had Michael Douglas, Kathleen Turner, and Danny DeVito in the music video as if they were the background singers for Billy Ocean. You saw like Billy there singing at the front of the stage, and I believe they were like dressed in like really fancy white suits and standing in front of microphones. And Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner are singing background, and they're just swaying back and forth. They're dancing to it. Danny DeVito at one point comes out with this humongous saxophone as if he's playing the sax solo in the song, and it just looks silly because Danny DeVito is kind of a tinier person, and with his large saxophone, and in addition to the video itself being fun, it's just, well, gosh, the title of the song right there, "When the Going Gets Tough, the Tough Gets Going," or get going. I'm throwing too many S's there. That's just an inspirational phrase. It's a song that always makes me feel good when I hear it. Probably in part because
Yeah.
of the lyrics, but also those memories of that time period. I mean, the mid '80s was kind of a fun period for me. Leaving my teens, about to become an adult. I nice a lot of nice memories from back then.
I don't know. Would you even see like these big stars? Because they were both really big stars. All three of them were big stars at the
Yeah.
time. Like, would you see them in a movie video? I mean, music videos aren't what they were, aren't as big a deal today as they were back then. Because
No,
MTV was,
no.
because I think they probably really probably wisely thought that, like if we can get more people to watch this video,
Yeah.
people will go see this movie
Yeah,
and
exactly.
buy the soundtrack, where maybe back like nowadays it's not as big of a deal.
Yeah, you're right. I don't think they are as big of a deal now, but that time period in particular, I can't remember what year that was. I want to say 84, 85, somewhere around, maybe 86. But that was probably the height of the fame of MTV too. At that point, it had already been around for a few years. People were watching it like crazy. And yeah, you saw more and more things where sometimes actors would appear, actors or actresses or other people in music videos. I remember even, gosh, I think it was, do you remember the song Valley Girl by Frank Zappa?
Yeah.
And his daughter Moon Unit. I recently saw the music video for that, and you had people there were you would never expect to see in a music video in there. I remember actor Robert Wagner, who was known for like Heart to Heart and so many other things, and he was number one in the Austin Powers movie. He was in there. Jane Fonda, I think, was in the music video. It was. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I got that wrong. It's not for Valley Girl. It was another song that Dweezil Zappa, Frank's son, did. Let's talk about it. But his immune unit had sang it. But my whole point is that just going along with what you said, you had like people that you would never think would be in music videos were doing it, because that was the thing
Yeah.
back then. It was
Yeah, they were
interesting time.
Like Chevy Chase was inexplicably in this Paul Simon.
Yes, that's right. For
Like,
You Can Call Me Al.
yeah,
Yeah, Paul Simon's the singer of that song, but Paul did not open his mouth in the music video. I think he did for some of the background vocals, but Chevy was just sitting next to him and he lip synced the whole thing as if he was the lead singer. And it worked.
yeah.
That's part of probably why it became such a big hit because it was such a fun music video from this, starring who at the time was one of the biggest movie stars in the world. Yeah, and I remember too, like in the Ghostbusters song, the music video for that. That's another fun song that always makes me feel good when I hear it. You had a lot of actors and actresses and even singers pop up in that who had nothing to do with the song or even to do with the movie. I remember like Peter Falk, who played Columbo. He appeared in the music video, and where he was just saying Ghostbusters. He would just like people would just say Ghostbusters. Norm from Cheers, George Wendt,
Oh
who
yeah.
unfortunately recently
Yeah.
passed away. And actually, he was in the music video for a song on my list, "Black or White" by Michael Jackson. He played a role in that as Macaulay Culkin's father. So yeah, you had people always popping up in videos back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll let you take it again.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go to the Traveling Wilburys, right?
Oh
I
yeah, I
feel like
love.
we've talked I feel like maybe we talked about it just when we were on the phone on like doing like a personal
I think maybe we did.
non-recorded
Yeah,
call or something.
yeah.
So I love the Traveling Wilburys, like especially their first album and um the and for those of you who don't know, it's a super group with, George Harrison, um, Tom Petty, Jeff Lynne, Bob Dylan,
Hmm.
and Roy Orbison.
Yeah.
Like, can you think of like a bigger like lineup, right?
I was just amazed when they got together and did that.
Yeah. And you think it's like, and like some of the behind the scenes of them talking about each other, working with each other, and how like honored and nervous they are just to work with each other. Like it's like a circle, of
Yeah,
like circle of like of awe.
exactly.
But my favorite song from them is "Heading for the Light."
Oh yeah, I love that song.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
is George Harrison. I mean, they all have the songwriting credits on all of their songs,
yeah.
but they all say that George Harrison wrote it, and it's his final song. Like
Wow.
it's like the last song that he wrote apparently. I mean, I don't know. There might have been something else, but like because he had another album around that time just before that with
Uh,
Jeff Lynne had
Jeff
produced.
Lynne had produced an album of his. Yeah, that's right. But oh yeah,
Yes.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, no. So I think, and maybe it was just the one. Maybe I'm thinking that they came out with the second album, so it must not have been that. It must not have been his last song. Maybe it was just the last one for the album.
Yeah,
Like
maybe for
he
that project. Yeah.
Yeah, so he like, but they needed like one more song, and he came to them and was like, how about this? And it's like it's such a good song,
It
and
is.
it's such a great finale, but and I always think of that because it's like such a um I don't know, it's just such a positive thing. It's like feels like an end, but it's like you're heading, you
Yeah.
can think about it spiritually. He was
Yeah,
like
you
one of
could.
the
You
very
could. Yeah, there's that. That's
spiritual person. I love his voice. I love their background voices. It's just everything about that song is
yeah,
such a good
I
thing.
agree with you. And the music in it, of course, the music on all the songs that they did together was so good. I mean, you've got what do we say about five members in the band? All of them such accomplished singers and musicians, and I think that was a big part of how they first got together. I think there was just this desire to jam together, and that if folks, if you have not heard the two albums that they did, I mean, like Roland said, I think the first one is probably to me maybe a little bit better, but I like the second one a lot too. The second one that was is volume three. There was no volume two. It was volume three for whatever reason. They thought it would be funny or entertaining to do it that way, and such good music. And Heading for the Light, that's one of my favorites too. I love George Harrison. He is. I love a lot of his solo music. I love the stuff he did with the Beatles, and he's my second favorite Beatle after Paul.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, good stuff there. And yeah,
He's
the
my
ones
first Beatle. He's my favorite Beatle.
he's your favorite. George is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And just from a musical's perspective,
yeah. I mean,
I think
he's just so good.
Ringo's my favorite Beatle from a personality perspective, and then of course Paul is uh,
Yeah,
second from a musical perspective.
yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with you about Ringo's personality is really something. I mean, I know even a week or so ago when we mentioned him recently turning 85. I mean, he always does that peace and love. He wants
Mm.
everybody at noon on his birthday, which I think was July 7th, maybe, to
Yeah.
just say peace and love. He's just such a cool, nice guy. He put out an album this year. Did you hear the album he put out this year? I
No, I
forget the
haven't heard
title
of
of
it.
it, but it was all country. It was the original songs, but they were all with a country flavor to it. And gosh, I wish I could remember the name of it, but it's a good album. He still puts out good music.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
And apparently, like, it's his third country album.
I think you're right. Yeah.
So it's not even like people are like, I can't believe you went country. And he's like, I went country like way back when.
Hmm.
It's like my second solo album, I think, was
Yeah,
country, you
exactly.
know?
Yeah. I never heard that, but I liked a lot of his solo stuff, especially in the 70s. I guess that's when he had his I think he was the first Beatle after they split up to have a number one song.
Oh
I
yeah?
remember that being like a trivia question in some trivia night thing that I played one time at some bar, and yeah, Ringo had a lot of good stuff. Boy, I could do a whole show on like the solo music of the Beatles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, matter of fact, I'm going to switch to. I have a Beatles song. I have a solo Beatles song on my list, and that is "Smile Away" by Paul McCartney with his wife Linda. Do you know that song?
No.
It wasn't a hit, but it was from what was his second solo album. His first solo album was just called McCartney, where it's pretty much just him playing all the instruments. He was I guess considered almost experimental for that time period. But the one he did after that was with his wife Linda, and it's just this really fun, jamming, quirky song. He's got a lot of basically it's just like no matter what's going on, you know what? Smile about it. Just smile away, folks. He's talking about somebody he didn't like the smell of their feet, but that's okay. Just go ahead and smile away. Like I said, it's really silly, but it's really fun. So if you don't know it, look it up or follow my playlist on Spotify and check it out. It's just this fun, quirky song, "Smile Away" from the Ram album, which to me
Okay.
I'd put top five of his albums.
Okay.
It's a
It's
good.
not a Wings album. It's just his own. It's
Yeah, it
just
was
Paul
right
McCartney.
before Wings. Yeah,
Okay.
right before Wings. Yeah, It's the only album that was credited to Paul McCartney and Linda McCartney, even though she continued to work with him for like almost the next 10 years before Wings broke up. And actually, I guess even after that, she played on his albums until she unfortunately passed away. I think sometime in the '90s. But yeah, good song from a very good album.
Yeah.
You
Wow.
got any other ones you want to share?
Yeah. I'm gonna, as long as we're talking about the Beatles, Like maybe you know more about this than I do, but I just love the song. Every time it comes up, I have to stop what I'm doing. Here Comes the Sun.
Ah, yeah.
Right.
Such a great song.
Yeah. I don't know who wrote it. Um, but I love, do you?
I think that's a Harrison song. I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's a Harrison song. Look, you have the look of someone who might be looking something up.
No, no, I was
No?
just trying to think. Like, so, yeah, so uh, my history with the Beatles was my next door neighbor was a Beatles fanatic. So we heard Beatles trivia all the time. So, like, at some point where you just like tuned it out.
Hmm.
But now, like, I wish I would have paid more attention because, like, was a wealth of Beatles knowledge. But I did when you hear the Beatles that much, you gain and like she points stuff out. So like I gained a lot of appreciation for the music, and every time that one would come on, I think she played it in the morning. So like I think clearly on purpose, right? But I
Great
lived
time to
right
play
next
it.
door, so my bedroom window was like adjacent to their
Oh, okay.
house.
So you would hear her stuff all the time.
I could hear that. Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
That's a good song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really good song. Yeah, and that's like I said, I'm pretty sure that's a Harrison song. I think it's on the Abbey Road album. Sometimes I get them mixed up, but yeah, really good song. The Beatles had a lot of. Oh gosh, I'm a big Beatles fan too, and yeah, I have. Matter of fact, and like I said, I like Paul a lot. I have this two-volume, was two very big, thick books that Lisa got me not too long ago called I think it's the lyrics, and where it's basically I've only looked at it a little bit so far, but it's basically Paul telling the story of like all these songs that he did, I think solo wise, but then with the Beatles too. And it's I don't know anything about the history of Here Comes the Sun, but I geek out over stuff like that. Hearing like what inspired songs and George Harrison, like we said, but he was such a great songwriter, and I'm glad that in his solo career, we got to see that because in the Beatles, I've seen even interviews where he said, he was kind of in some ways stifled a little bit because he only got one or two songs per album, um, and that was more so towards the end of the Beatles' career, and then he really got to blossom afterwards with his solo stuff. And yeah, I think "Here Comes the Sun" was kind of like was one of the last big things he did with the Beatles, and then he just took off. Excuse me, sorry about that, folks. So yeah, great song there. Excellent choice. And let me see here. I'm going to talk. I know I could just go on and on. We both love music so much. I'm going to go with another movie song, and that would be this is I'm going to share two from a movie, and this is two songs from the soundtrack for the film Rocky, and I believe also Rocky 2. Most of you are probably already going to guess what one of them is, and that's the iconic "Gonna Fly Now," which was played when Rocky, and I can't remember exactly the scene in the first movie, but I believe when he was when he was training and he ran up the steps of the Philadelphia Museum of Art or the Philadelphia Art Museum, whatever the exact title is. But it was in the training sequence. You hear it all the time when there is some sort of specials about the film Rocky. Some people, their favorite movie series is the Star Wars movies or Lord of the Rings. For me, my favorite movie series ever is the Rocky movies. I love the Rocky movies. I've seen each of them many times. I love the Creed movies since they're a continuation of that. But Going to Fly Now is just so inspiring. And in Rocky 2, which is in my top three of the favorites of the Rocky movies, first before Going to Fly Now is Going the Distance, which is yet another. It's another instrumental. But have you seen the Rocky movies, Roland? Are you a fan of them? In Rocky 2, I don't remember Adrian was in a coma and she came out of the coma. She had been very opposed to Rocky fighting again in the rematch with Apollo Creed. And she woke up and she said, "There's one thing I want you to do for me, win." And then you saw the training sequence begin. And first, before it got to the Gonna Fly Now section, they had Going the Distance, which is just such great music. And it was done by Bill Conti. It was the same guy who did Gonna Fly Now. Just beautiful, inspiring music. And right after that part, that finish, then you saw Rocky. That was mostly him, like in the gym with weightlifting and sparring with other boxers. That ended, and then you heard the big gone. It went right directly into "Gonna Fly Now." So it was the two songs just went together so perfectly in one of my favorite movie scenes ever. So there you go, two songs from Rocky and Rocky Two. And boy, I could just, I've got so many, I'll tell you, Roland, I'm not going to talk about any more movie songs, but I'm just going to share, here's some other movie ones I have on here. I've got The Secret of My Success, which was a Michael J. Fox movie. The song was by Night Ranger. I'm All Right by Kenny Loggins, which was in Caddyshack. The theme from Flashdance, What a Feeling by Irene Cara. Yeah, I obviously really, really liked 80s movies. And the last one, too, was a lot of people might consider this one to be kind of corny, too, but it's You're the Best from The Karate Kid by Joe Bean Esposito. So, yeah, I kind of geek out on that kind of, go for it, go for your dreams kind of stuff.
I don't think I have any movie songs from movies on mine at all. I mean, I'm sure some of these have been in movies, but none of them were like movie songs, right? Um, well, I have one. I
Oh,
have
yeah?
one,
What's that?
but it's sort of like I'll say it's sort of a wrap up song, but I could say it now.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Whatever you want to do.
it's the um, it's the end theme from Buckaroo Banzai.
Oh, I have no idea what this is.
Okay, so it is an epic song that ends the movie, and it's like and it's and the and you probably just hearing it won't be enough. You have to watch the video. So like watch Buckaroo Banzai end theme. You know, because it starts off with like one person like walking into, the LA River, you've seen the LA River like in Greece, where it's
Oh,
like
yeah,
just
yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's not a river, it used to be a river, but now it's just like a flat, concrete
I know exactly
um
what you mean. That's where they
flood
had the big
control
car race,
channel.
right at the end of the movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I barely
So
remember Buckaroo Banzai, so excuse my ignorance here. I haven't seen it in
it's
probably.
like it's the end credits. So like it's like the movie's over. So like they're
Oh,
walking,
okay.
Buckaroo Banzai walks down, and then like everyone, like one by one, people start joining. So it's like a march. They're like
Oh,
marching to
nice.
this music, and it's this great song, but made so much greater by all of the his friends
Oh,
joining
excellent.
in on this march. Yeah, so it's so good. It's just an epic song.
And what? I'm sorry. What is the song? And
I don't know, it's just the end theme. So
oh,
it's
oh,
a
oh.
Buckaroo
Okay.
Banzai.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
There are no words. I don't know if that counts as a song. If it's is it a song if it doesn't have words? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I guess it's just an
But
instrumental, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
instrumental, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent. I
But
have to see that movie again. Is that an old favorite of yours, or is it particularly
I
that?
thought it was, but it was another one of those ones where I go, no, that was okay.
Yeah. I
Like
remember. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
it's not as great as it was in my mind.
Yeah, I remember when it came out that I guess it got a lot of attention because it was so different at the time. Like it was a very quirky movie from what I remember. Because
Yeah.
wasn't the main character? It was Peter Weller who went on to play RoboCop, I think.
Yeah.
Wasn't he
Yeah.
like some? He was the hero of it, but wasn't he also a musician? And
He's a rock star, brain surgeon,
oh gosh, that's right. Forgot
spy,
about
like
that.
test pilot, marksman. Like, he's like the leader of like all this troop of mercenaries,
Oh yeah,
heroes types.
that's right. I remember it having a pretty good cast too. I remember that was one of the first big movies Jeff Goldblum was in, and is it John Lithgow, one of the
Yeah.
guys too, and Ellen Barkin, who I had a little bit of a
Yeah.
crush on back then. Yeah, I remember her being in it, and oh, I want to watch that again. I'll probably have the same feeling that you just said, where it'd probably be like, oh, okay, maybe not as good as I remember, but I remember, especially back then, it was always fun to embrace things that were a little bit different,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. I've seen it many times, and like way back then, like my friends and I saw it. You know how it was. Like, one person buys like one person has HBO, like as
yeah,
from our kind of conversation from before we started recording. One person has HBO, so that's the house where everyone goes.
mm-hmm.
And for a while, it was on basically,
Oh yeah, it
three
was on all
times a
the time.
day.
Yeah,
And so we would just watch that over and over again.
yeah.
And yeah.
I became a fan of so many movies that way just because they got played over and over again on HBO or some of the other things that we had back then. I don't even think it exists anymore, but there was one called the Movie Channel, and
Hmm.
there was Cinemax, of course, and yeah, I remember falling in love with Eddie and the Cruisers that way, and I think that's how that actually gained its popularity because it didn't do well in the movie theaters, but then when it got onto
Yeah.
cable, people watched it over and over again. That caused the music to become popular, and even eventually inspired the sequel. But I want to definitely check that at the very least check out that song.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a good video. It's a good little. It's not even a video. It's just like somebody people have cut that that off the clip for the end of the movie.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And we'll probably only talk about a couple more here, but I wanted to mention this one song that I've always loved is it was the first solo hit by John Waite, and he was in a group called the Babies, who had some hits in the late '70s, believe right at the beginning of the '80s. Then they broke up, but it was a song called Change, and it wasn't that big of a hit at the time, but it later became sort of popular in the early days of MTV because he had a music video for it. Even though it was a hit, wasn't a hit on the radio, it got popular on MTV. And then a couple years later, it was re-released and it was included in the soundtrack of a movie called Vision Quest. Do you remember that
Oh
movie?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Matthew Modine was a high school
Hmm.
wrestler, and in the music video for the song, they had included clips from the movie where you saw him, going through his various ordeals in the movie, and a big part of it was him training too, because I remember he was trying to lose weight to, I guess, to
Get
qualify
to a
for this.
certain weight category so
Yeah, I
he
remember
can.
him wearing like
Yeah.
this like silver type jacket to lose weight. You saw him running, but the music video it blended the scenes from the movie together perfectly with John Waite singing the song. And I can't now hear the song without thinking of that music video. And I am the kind of nerd that when I was into running a few years ago, I particularly was like trying to run like Matthew Modine was in the movie in the music video at this particular one time. There was a scene in it where he was running over a bridge during, I guess,
Is
like
that
the
how
middle of
you
the
hurt? Is this
song.
how you hurt yourself?
Maybe in retrospect, maybe that's how I did it. But I was like running over this bridge. Pretty much, I was trying to do it like he did in the movie. Because yeah, folks, I'm that kind of nerd. But yeah, it's a good, inspiring song, I think, and it's sort of like no matter who you are, you can change, and so which is true. Again, some people might take that as corny or a cliche, but if something motivates us enough, and it's where we want to make changes, we can do it. So
Yeah.
I love that song. That's the last movie song that I'll cover here today.
I can't wait to see your videos of you. Since you're such a Rocky fan, like dragging logs through the snow on your shoulders this winter.
This is the video of what happened to Buddy right before he ended up in the hospital, folks. Yeah, that's another
All
one too.
right.
Oh my gosh, I could list more and more songs from the Rocky movies. I mean, that one like you're talking about, I think was from Rocky Four, where he's training in Russia, and yeah, that had some good stuff in it too.
It's crazy. Yeah. Um, how much more? How many more do we have?
Well,
How much time do we have?
let's
Like,
each do one more.
okay. All right. So I'm going to end with my one Pink Floyd song on here. And there are very few inspirational Pink Floyd songs,
Can I
right?
just let me interrupt for 1 second? The reason I just went like this is because my song that I chose to talk about last is also a Pink Floyd song. So I'm going to be
Oh,
curious if it's the same song. So you go ahead,
okay.
sir.
Okay. Mine is called Fearless.
Ah, yes, great one.
Yeah. And it is off the Metal
Mm-hmm.
album, I think,
Yeah,
right? So
it is.
Metal, right, which was their album that they were working on at the same time as they were doing Dark Side of the Moon. Dark Side of the Moon
Yeah.
took them a long time, and they needed to do other stuff and get mental breaks and stuff like that. So they wrote that song in between, and and it's such a good song. It's
Oh,
very
it is.
inspirational, and there's a whole chanting of what is How I Walk Alone or
You'll
Never
never walk alone.
Never
Yeah.
Ever Never Walk Alone, which is a soccer team, a football team,
Yeah, and I think
and
it goes back like decades too. Like it was used in some, I think some musical back in the 60s or
yeah, it's from
50s.
a
Yeah.
musical, but now
Yeah.
it's like it's a
Yeah,
chant
it's become like you
for
said,
this
iconic for this that team.
for the for that soccer team. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I love that song. I always crank that up. It's been on a lot of
Oh,
my
it's so
playlists of all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
it's so good. It's funny. I mentioned before we started recording, folks, that we had done the show, and I mentioned it earlier in the show a couple years. I guess it's well, maybe a year or 2 years ago, where we talked about Pink Floyd, and in it, I watched. I was just watching this like 2 days ago. I was rewatching it, and we were both discussing our favorite albums, Pink Floyd albums that came out before Dark Side of the Moon, since a lot of people consider that to be like the start of like their most legendary period. And I remember in there you said Metal was your favorite
Mhm.
before Dark Side of the Moon, and that one's on Metal, and it's such a good song. I mean, and Fearless is so good. I love the one line in there. Fearlessly, the idiot faced the crowd, smiling. Well, the way they sing "smiling" is so much better than just hearing the word. But it's the music builds throughout the song, and the lyrics are so good. The vocals are so good. Oh, excellent choice, Roland.
Thank you. Now I can't wait to hear what your inspirational Pink Floyd song is.
Mine comes much later. In fact, from their last studio album. It was from their final studio album. If you don't count "The Endless River," which came out about 10 years ago, which well, that's a whole other story. But it was from the Division Bell from 1994, and it's called "Coming Back to Life."
Okay.
And do you remember that one?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I love that song. In some ways, it's very different musically than some of their most popular music. There's parts of it where it's just downright funky sounding, with the bass in it and the beat in it. But basically, it's singing about this guy. Well, this couple, I guess, was in a relationship that has ended, and it did not end well, and it pretty much devastated the guy. But in spite of that, he has come to the point where he is moving on, and he's basically coming back to life. And I find the lyrics inspiring. That part of it in particular, because I remember really getting into this song was many years ago now, after a bad breakup that I had had. I had
Mm.
been with I had a girlfriend. It didn't end well, and I went through a long, long period of being down. And when I started turning around, it was happened to coincide with me listening to this album a lot, and that's how I felt I could very much relate to this song. I had gone through what to me at that time seemed like the worst time in my life. Uh, Subsequent events were worse, but that's a whole other story. But it was a very hard time for me, and that song I related to it. I would put it on, and I think even though it's a song, it's just fictional. I can relate to it, and if this character in the song can be coming back to life, so can I. And even now, decades after that stuff happened, I still put on the song, and it inspires me.
Great.
And that is it.
I'm gonna have to listen to that after we're done. Yeah.
It's a good song, and that to me is, I think, an underrated Pink Floyd album too. Some people, I think, some Pink Floyd fans and just music fans in general, I think, kind of are a little dismissive of the period of Pink Floyd after Roger Waters had left the band, and that was the one of two albums that they did after he had left. And to me, it's one of my favorite Pink Floyd albums. It's got a lot of good music on it. And as
Yeah.
far as good music goes, man, we covered a lot of good music today. You
Yeah,
brought up
we
stuff
did.
that I hadn't thought of in the longest time, like the Supertramp song and the ELO "Do Ya." For whatever reason, that's a song that I just kind of haven't played in the longest time. I kind of forgot about it. So thank you. That's
Yeah.
being added to my Spotify list, like right after I end this call.
Ex Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. I had so many. Yeah. Yeah, when you texted me and you said, "Hey, I've got like." I think you had like 18 songs on your list or something like that or more. I'm like, ooh, I don't have that many. I better make a list. And then I thought, oh, we're never going to go through that. And we don't have 2 hours.
Did you have any other ones that we didn't get a chance to get to that you might want to mention? Or
Yeah, I mean, real quick. I mean, there's
yeah, take your
one of my,
time.
yeah. So, Spoon, the Underdog. I really like that.
Oh, I don't know that.
Okay, so
Wait, which one is which? Is Spoon the band or is the Underdog the
Boone is
band?
the band
Oh,
and the
okay, that's
underdog.
right.
That was their biggest song. And that whole album is really good, but that song was like their big one.
Oh, okay. I probably know it to hear it.
Yeah, Heart Barracuda. I really love that
Oh,
song.
yeah. Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
one, it's funny because I think it might have been that Pink Floyd show that you and I talked about that one too, where that
hmm
had why don't we just reiterate it here? That had quite the history to it too. I mean, it wasn't exactly
Yeah,
that
it
was
was a
about some
downer,
bad
kind
things
of
that
a
went down.
yeah, like they were trying to squash some. They were angry at their record label for like stirring up rumors about them or something like
Yeah.
that, and so they
But you
wrote
wouldn't
that.
know that
So
to listen to it. I think that story came
no,
out years afterward, right?
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then I'll leave you with one last one that I really like. Do you know Lyle Lovett?
Not really all that well, no.
So Lyle Lovett, he's just, I guess he's kind of country, but he's like not really like, I don't know. It's like he's his own thing. He's really, really his own thing. And there's a song, Record Lady, which I think if you listen to Record Lady by Lyle Lovett, it's a great song. It's very inspirational, like to sort of, um, it's like, go get yourself back out into the world and
Oh,
like,
nice.
it's kind of a thing. But also, it's just like it's a cute little song about an interaction between a guy and a woman who works at the record store.
Oh, nice. I want to check that
Yeah.
out. He's an artist that I've always been curious about because I remember always hearing that, like you said, he was his own, sort of his own separate entity in the music world. He wasn't, while I guess it had a lot of like country sound to it, he was not quite country. You wouldn't see him like showing up at like on the Nashville, I don't know,
Yeah.
Nashville network doing something probably.
I mean, I guess if he's anything, he's country.
Yeah. I think
But
I think I probably most know his name because he was married to Julia Roberts for a little while.
oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
or was dating her or something. But oh yeah, and it's Record Lady. Is that what it is?
Record lady, yeah.
Okay, I'll check that out. Excellent. That's one thing I love about doing shows like this, or even just talking to my fellow music-loving friends. Is it doesn't matter how old you are, how much music you listen to. There's always new stuff to discover and fall in love with. It's fantastic, and thankfully, there's always new stuff coming out too, even by artists who have been around a long time. I just was looking this morning. We're recording this on a Friday, and it's generally the day new music is released. And I saw that the band Styx has a new album out today. And
Oh wow.
yeah, I mean they're different. They've most of the band members. There's only I think two of the members who have been around since like the '70s in there, Tommy Shaw and James Young. But artists are still putting out stuff. Like we said, Ringo's still doing stuff. Paul McCartney's still doing stuff. It's wonderful, and what I love too is that new artists are coming out with inspiring music. Well, I mean, even if it's not inspiring, but music that touches you in one way or another. And it's just I don't know. I say sometimes that the the second greatest love in my life is music. But first is my wife Lisa, but music has been my thing forever. I don't play music, but oh boy, do I love it.
Same here.
And I thank you for sharing some of your favorites here today, Roland.
Thank you. And you're
Uh,
welcome.
it's been a lot of fun talking with you about it. And folks, if you want to check out some of this music, well, like I said, I'm going to include a link here to my Spotify playlist and check out some of Roland's too. I know I'm going to be making a list, especially with that Lyle Lovett song. And there was the other one too, the Spoon song. What's it called?
I can Spoon the underdog. The underdog is the
Yeah,
name of the song by
yeah. I'm not sure if
Spoon.
yeah, I can't remember that right now, but I'll check it out. And folks, thank you so much for tuning in to the Pop and Prose podcast. Roland, where can people find you online? Because I know you're in some different places.
I'm on all the different, well, not all of them. I'm on Instagram and Facebook. And I have a website, rolanddenzel.com. So you can find me there. But I'm Roland Denzel on Facebook, Roland Denzel on Instagram. I'm probably on all the other places too. I just don't ever go there.
Yeah, and it's hard to keep up with it all. And if anybody wants to check me out, I'm well, I'm not. Let me see. I was going to say I'm not really on X so much anymore. I'm there, but I don't do anything there. You can most find me on Blue Sky. I have fallen in love with Blue Sky over the past several months. I do a post a lot there about music and other things. Also, Substack. This show actually, for a lot of you, will see this for the first time on Substack. I started doing the show hosting it through there where that's the homepage for it, and then they shoot it out to places like Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon. So I'm on Substack more. Yeah, those and buddygotwrites.com. It's a website that has been a little dormant lately, but I plan on updating it on a more regular basis. And one other last plug for myself, and then I'll shut up and say goodbye, is that I just recently started a new podcast with my wife, Lisa, and it's called The Buddy and Lisa Show. Our first episode is up. And actually, by the time this airs, the second one will be up too. The first one was about British TV shows we love, including Death in Paradise. It's primarily about Death in Paradise. And the second episode is about writing. It's about different struggles that writers have, while they're working on their fiction or other things. I think that if you're a writer or any other kind of creator, you might be able to relate to that. So check out the Buddy and Lisa Show. And Roland, thanks so much for being on. I mean, whenever I talk to you, I think, God, I could do a show with you every month. We have a lot of the same interests in things.
Don't threaten me.
Okay, my friend. Well, you take it easy. And folks, no matter what you're doing today, have a fantastic time. Try to squeeze in as much fun as you can.
Listen to some music.
All right, take care. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.